Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never even knew were out there. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's dive right in. We start today's episode in Paraguay, and like most countries and regions, there are some serious mythical beasts rumored to roam these lands. There are legends of 7 mythical beasts here that are said to make the blood of the strongest men run cold. One of these feared beasts is the Luison. Hopefully my pronunciation was right. For those hearing it for the first time, it's a werewolf-like entity that many people in Paraguay firmly believe exists. There have been no proof of their existence until someone shared a shocking clip online recently. The footage shows armed police officers outside a clinic with their guns drawn, aiming at something inside the building. At first, it was reported as a break-in, but after seeing how the officers reacted, actually firing at something, rumors spread that the intruder was not human at all. Now, take a close look at the doorway in the footage. You can see a shadowy figure, but it appears to be walking on the walls, moving unnaturally fast, almost like it's shape-shifting as it tries to escape. The police looked visibly agitated, and according to other witnesses, the creature's appearance kept shifting as it moved around the clinic. Now, I know the dramatic background music in the footage makes it even more intense, but that's just how the clip was uploaded, and nothing we can do about that. After the incident, people were hoping to see the body cam footage from the police, which would have given us a clearer view of whatever they were firing at, but so far, the footage has never been released. The video we have was filmed from across the street, making it hard to make a final judgment, but still, what we can see is bizarre enough. The presence of dog-like creatures across cultures who have never met has led many to conclude that lycanthropy is really a thing. Anyway, you've seen the clip, what do you think we're dealing with here? Moving on, we've got a clip that's got us scratching our heads. At first glance, it looks like a creature standing on 2 legs scanning the neighborhood. It's not particularly large, but it definitely looks out of place. Some people immediately speculated that this could be a cryptid, but if you look closely, the shape, posture, and even the way it's positioned suggests something else entirely. It could just be an owl. Owls, especially larger species, can sometimes look strangely humanoid when perched on rooftops, especially in low lighting. While the mind plays tricks at night, sometimes, just sometimes, things aren't as simple as they seem. So what do you think? Just an owl, or could it be something else?
I asked you last week to guess my age. I'm 53. These are the people that got it right. Hi guys, you got it.
There are a lot of creepy videos out there, and honestly, some of them are hard to believe, especially when it comes to ghost footage. Let's be real, in this digital age, it's easier than ever to edit videos and make fake paranormal encounters look real. But if there's one place where I don't doubt ghost videos, it's the graveyard. I mean, it's where we bury the dead. If ghosts are going to show up anywhere, it makes sense for them to be there. Now, someone shared this footage they recorded while at the graveyard at night, and honestly, my first question is, why would you even go there at night? In the video, you can see rows of gravestones light up. Everything looks calm and stands still, but then in the darkness behind them, something strange appears. A faint figure can be seen, barely visible in the shadows. It was crouched down on the grass near a tall gravestone, but then, as if it noticed the person filming, it slowly rose to its feet and glided away before vanishing into the darkness. Now, was this an actual spirit? Very likely, and this is exactly why I'm not stepping foot in a graveyard at night.
I'm gonna sound freaking crazy for saying this. There's a weird little gnome in our backyard that just apparently runs back and forth and up the things. And
Recently, there have been a lot of gnome sightings in Utah. People are reporting sightings of these tiny creatures everywhere, and the growing frequency is sparking serious concerns. Now, if you didn't know about them already, gnomes are mythical beings said to live in gardens and forests, acting as protectors of nature and greenery. One Utah resident, a woman who lives with her family, shared a video telling the story of how her husband and son had seen a gnome in their yard.
And I love it here, but we moved here about 8 months ago from Vegas, and it's been amazing. However, my husband and my son, he's 12, he's almost 13, they have noticed that there has been a weird little gnome. I'm gonna sound freaking crazy for saying this. There's a weird little gnome in our backyard that just apparently runs back and forth and up the things, and I'm like...
Since then, they started leaving small gifts outside, and strangely enough, the gifts kept disappearing. But this isn't the only sighting. Another Utah resident shared security footage from their front yard. The clip was clearly filmed late at night, and at first you can see a man walking away, but then this appears, a small furry-looking creature walking across the yard. As much as I would love to speculate about how much of a gnome this might be, well, let's be honest here. This thing looks like a skunk. You can even see the white markings on its body, which match a typical skunk's appearance. But here's where things get weird. The woman from the first video has completely vanished. Her account is gone, and nobody can find her anymore. This has made people skeptical, because whenever people start talking too much about something strange, they either get banned or their accounts disappear. Sometimes it's not just their accounts that disappear, they too disappear. I know I'm saying a lot right now, but this may all just be a coincidence. After all, the second clip was pretty clearly just a skunk, but what if the first lady's story was true? What if she was onto something bigger? I guess we'll never know.
Gnome? I'm gonna sound freaking crazy for saying this. There's a weird little gnome in our backyard that just apparently runs back and forth and up the things, and I'm like, I have not seen this.
A lot of fishermen have gone out to sea and returned with wild stories about catching sea monsters and even mermaids. Some of their tales are so unbelievable that they're hard to take seriously. But then we have this footage. In this video, a fishing boat has just returned from a trip, and a group of men is gathered around something hanging over the side of the boat. Something that looks like a fishtail. At first it seems like they're just handling a large catch, but then as they lift it onto the boat, things take a shocking turn. This is no ordinary fish. It appears to be a mermaid. The footage shows the upper body of a pale-skinned woman lying completely lifeless, her arms crossed across her chest, while the lower half of her body remains that of a fish. So this is the real deal? Well, some people believe it is, and this could be actual proof that mermaids exist. As with these things, however, not everyone is buying it. Some are arguing that this could be nothing more than an artistic prop. What do you think? This clip comes from an individual who noticed this strange-looking cloud formation. At first it seemed ordinary, but the more they looked at it, the more it didn't seem like an ordinary cloud. It was a circular shape slightly brighter than the surrounding sky, and it was a ring within an outside ring. From a distance, it almost looked like it was radiating light. Now at first glance, it doesn't exactly scream UFO, but what if it's cloaked? Some people believe this could even be a portal, a gateway opening up in the sky. Others say it's simply a rare cloud formation. Personally, I don't know of any cloud formations that look like this, but what do you think?
Me, Amanda. Me, May. That's Furby. The more you play, the more they do. And say.
Back in the 1990s, a certain toy took the world by storm: Furby toys. These little furry bird-like creatures with big blinking eyes and robotic voices became an instant fashion trend, selling out everywhere. Even though they're not as mainstream today, people still collect them, often finding them in antique stores or second-hand shops. One of those collectors was the owner of this next footage. He'd purchased a Furby from an antique store, but the toy was completely broken. The mechanism that made it talk had stopped working years ago. It never made a sound. For 2 years, it just sat in his house as decoration, because he liked the way it looked. But then, one night, everything changed. He woke up to strange noises coming from one of the rooms. Confused, he quietly walked over to the door and peered inside, and what he saw terrified him. The Furby was making strange, glitchy noises, and its eyes were rapidly moving around the room as if it were looking for something. Then, just as if it knew he was watching, the toy's eyes locked onto him, staring unblinking right at him. The man was so freaked out that he threw the toy away immediately. Now, this isn't the first time people have claimed that Furby toys are haunted. Many owners have reported similar eerie encounters, from Furbies turning on by themselves, speaking in voices they weren't programmed to, or even moving when no one was around. Could this be the proof that these little guys are possessed? I guess we'll never know. A woman shared what she thought was an innocent and sweet video of her dog, but instead of warming hearts, it ended up scaring people on the internet, and this is why. The dog had a haunting expression. Its stare was intense, almost angry, and its teeth were bared in a way that looked unsettling. Many viewers immediately said the dog looked possessed and even compared it to a skinwalker in disguise. But the owner quickly shut down the fears, saying that her dog actually smiles like this all the time, and it's just how it looks when it's happy. But I don't think this looks happy, do you?
Go up close.
Someone came across these very interesting plants growing on the ground. At first he thought they were just weeds or small fruits until something strange happened. The moment he touched the leaves, they snapped shut on their own, almost like they were alive and reacting to him. But don't be scared, they're not evil plants or anything paranormal. These are commonly known as touch-me-not plants, and their scientific name is Mimosa pudica. They have a unique defense mechanism where their leaves close up when touched, likely to protect themselves from predators or harsh conditions. Have you ever seen one of these in real life? Someone visited the Ringwood Manor in New Jersey, a historical site known for its rich past and eerie atmosphere. While exploring the property, they took photographs and live images, capturing the beauty of the wooded areas around the estate. But then, they noticed something chilling. In one of the live photographs, an apparition of a man appeared. His clothing resembled the style of the Gilded Age. He was seen placing his hand across his chest before lowering it again. And you can't see his legs, only his upper torso. The person who caught the image was so freaked out that they shared the footage online, hoping for an explanation. Most people immediately speculated that this could be the ghost of Abraham Hewitt, the former owner of Ringwood Manor. With so much history and energy attached to places like this, it's very likely. But then again, what do you think? People pull a lot of stunts these days, and with just a few good camera angles, some of these tricks can look shockingly real. But sometimes they might not be stunts at all. Take a look at this man. He was caught on camera chewing something that looked insanely hot. Now, we've all eaten hot food before, but when you look at his surroundings and what he's actually eating, things start to feel a lot more unsettling. Behind him, there's a bonfire with a group of men standing around it for warmth. But then, you notice what he's holding. It looks like a burning piece of wood or something that's been sitting directly in the flames, and for some reason, he's biting into it like it's food. As he chews, embers and sparks fly out of his mouth, yet he doesn't react at all, as if the fire isn't even burning him. How is this even possible? Is this some kind of black magic ritual, or does this man actually have a supernatural tolerance for fire?
Estamos viendo nosotros ahorita a las 3 de la mañana.
Some police officers were on patrol in Nayarit, Mexico, when they came across something truly eerie. While stationed outside the gates of a school around 3 a.m., they noticed 2 little girls running and screaming across the compound. Now here's where it gets strange. It was the middle of the night. Most people were still asleep, and as far as they knew, no one lived in the school. So where did these girls come from? As the officers watched, they realized something even more chilling. The girls weren't normal children. Their features were impossible to make out, just dark, shadowy figures moving through the schoolyard and screaming. That's when it hit them. These weren't ordinary girls, they were ghosts. While there's no known history of tragedies at the school, some believe this could be the spirits of 2 former students still lingering long after their time. While on a hike, a man suddenly started to feel uneasy, as if something was off. Wanting to capture his surroundings, he pulled out his phone and started filming around him. That's when he noticed something strange. A few feet ahead, among some trees, there was a round-shaped figure with glowing eyes. It wasn't moving. It looked like it was crouched down watching him. The man had no idea what he was looking at, and after capturing the footage, he left the area as fast as he could. When he shared the video online, people couldn't believe what it was. Some believed it could be a cryptid, while others thought it was just an oddly shaped object blending into the environment. But no one's really sure. You've seen the clip, so what do you say about it? A man went backpacking in the woods, something he'd done many times before. He was experienced with the wilderness and familiar with all the usual sounds of the forest, but on this particular trip, something felt off. As he set off on a trail, he started noticing that everything was eerily silent, even the birds had stopped chirping. Then he heard it. Heavy footsteps were following him. At first he thought it might be a bear, but the steps sounded too deliberate, too heavy and human-like to be an animal. As the sun began to set, he finally found a spot to camp. He lit a fire and sat by it, still feeling watched. That's when he noticed it. It was massive, about 8 to 9 feet tall, walking back and forth in the distance. Being the 21st century man that he was, he quickly grabbed his camera and started taking pictures. The creature had clearly noticed him, but instead of approaching, it just paced back and forth, almost as if it was watching him carefully. The man felt a mix of fear and curiosity, but decided to stay put. He kept his eyes on it until he eventually dozed off by the fire. When he woke up, the creature was gone. This was his first Bigfoot encounter, and he was certain that it had been stalking him the entire time. So now, looking at the images he captured, do they finally prove that Bigfoot is real? In recent years, there has been a huge demand for non-stick pans. Everyone was sold on the idea of how efficient they were, making cooking easier with no food sticking to the surface. But here's the problem. The material used in these non-stick utensils is Teflon. Teflon has been linked to serious health concerns, including memory loss. Think about it. Every time we cook, we're also heating up Teflon, which can release harmful chemicals that we might be consuming without realizing it. What's even more alarming is that Teflon wasn't originally made for cooking. It was first developed for military use and designed to coat tanks and containers that stored highly corrosive and reactive chemicals. But somehow, we're now putting them in our kitchens. Perhaps it's time to rethink what we cook with. A group of men were at a work site when they discovered something unusual buried in the ground. At first, they assumed it was just another ancient creature, but after looking closer, they realized no one could actually identify what it was. Over the years, we've seen our fair share of fossils, but this one is different. Now, while scientists might struggle to classify it, the paranormal community is certain that this is the fossilized remains of a Bigfoot. Just look at its shape. It appears to be covered in some kind of coat, and its limbs are eerily human-like, with arms and legs that suggest a bipedal stance. Do you think they uncovered a new prehistoric species, or is this the proof we've been waiting for that Bigfoot isn't just a myth? When it comes to urban legends, Japan has some of the most terrifying entities you will ever hear about. So when people saw this footage, they were convinced something paranormal was caught on camera. The video shows two boys standing under a beautiful sakura tree at night. They were acting silly, laughing while someone filmed them. It was said that they were out there with their family and their father was the one behind the camera. At first everything seemed normal, but then something chilling happened. If you look closely at the boy on the left side, near the tree, you'll notice a pale hand wrapping around his leg. As soon as that father noticed it, he shouted out in shock and the hand quickly retreated into the tree. He ran to the boys and even searched around the tree, but there was nothing there. Strangely enough, the boy never felt anything grab him. Now, most people immediately believed this was some kind of spirit or supernatural entity, possibly one of Japan's many ghostly legends, but I think this could just be well-edited footage. This woman was hired at a hotel and worked the night shift. Everything seemed normal. She checked in a few customers, handled paperwork, and went about her duties. But then something strange kept happening. Guests would specifically request not to be checked into room 205. At first, she didn't think much of it, but after hearing multiple guests avoid that room, her curiosity got the better of her. Since the lobby was quiet with no one checking in, she decided to take a quick trip to room 205 to see what the big deal was. She used the key card, stepped inside, and turned on the lights. But to her surprise, everything looked completely normal. There was nothing out of place, no eerie feelings, no strange noises. Thinking it was all just superstition, she turned off the lights and was about to shut the door, but that's when it happened. A whispering voice out of nowhere said, "Hey," and that was all she needed to hear. She bolted out of there as fast as she could, completely terrified. Now, the real question is, what's the story behind room 205? Is this just another haunted hotel story, or is there something really lurking in that room?
Okay, let's do this. Oh, God. All right, no, I'm out.
This was found deep in the Brazilian jungle, a massive fossil of what appears to be a shark stuck between the ground and some trees. You can clearly see the teeth, the eyes, and the overall shape, and surprisingly, it looks almost intact, as if it had been preserved for ages. Some people even say it looks like a sculpture, but the uploader insists it's real. If it's real, like he's saying, how did a shark end up in the middle of the jungle? Many have asked this, and the uploader doesn't seem to have a response. Not to say I believe it's legit, but let's just say for a moment that it is. Could this be evidence that this land was once underwater? You know what? Perhaps I should move on to the next clip, but before you move to, please tell me what you think. Now let's talk about this next footage, which comes from West Virginia. A man captured something strange. It was a group of glowing orbs moving in a very intentional pattern across the sky. At first, it just looked like random movement, but then a viewer pointed out something interesting. The first two formations actually resemble numbers: 3, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. Do you see it? Now, if that's the case, could this be some kind of coded message, a possible communication attempt from extraterrestrials? Or is this just a bizarre coincidence? It's not too long ago we were talking about the clip that could potentially be Morse code appearing in the sky. Do you think they could be related? A subscriber sent in this image, which was taken back in 1999 in Ottawa. It shows a very light green creature with extremely long limbs. It has no nose, and its eyes are completely hollow. The creature is just standing there, completely still, staring directly into the camera. Now, the image is pretty blurry, but you can still make out its strange humanoid shape. We showed this to everyone in the team, and the unanimous decision was that it was an alien. Is it authentic? We can't say, but you guys wouldn't send us fakes, right? If we're to believe that, then Eric, who sent this in, did really encounter an alien being. We would have to get in touch and ask him a few more questions. We all know about the Chernobyl incident, the nuclear explosion that happened at a power plant in 1986, releasing deadly radiation into the environment and causing one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. But there's something even more terrifying that came from that explosion, something known as the elephant's foot. Now, despite its name, this isn't an actual elephant's foot, but it looks like one. It's a massive molten mass made up of melted nuclear fuel, concrete, and metal, all fused together from the explosion. And it's the most radioactive thing ever recorded. So much so that anyone who got too close to it for more than a few minutes risked instant radiation poisoning. There's real-life footage of suited-up experts visiting the site years later to film and study it, but even with protection, it's unclear if they left truly unharmed. Fairy tales are no longer just stories, and we all know why. Our beloved Disney-like characters seem to be coming to life, and things are getting weirder by the day. This footage was taken by a man walking near some woodlands when he spotted something unusual running by. At first, he thought it was a little girl running into the woods, but when he looked closer, he realized this was no little girl. It looks like a rabbit wearing a dress, hopping along cheerfully with its back turned toward the camera. We never get to see the clear image of its face, but just look at this thing. The feet, the long ears on its head, it's definitely not human.
Unless it's AI. Nah.
This man captured a very interesting looking fish while on a fishing trip in the Amazon jungle. As he reeled in his catch, he pulled up something that looked completely out of this world. It was some kind of catfish, but unlike any ordinary one. This thing had spikes and armor-like plating all over its body, and it looked like a mix between an alien and a monster fish. If you asked me to describe what an extraterrestrial fish might look like, this would definitely be it. Some people even thought the footage was AI generated because of how unusual the fish looked. But it's real. After a lot of research, I have the answer. This, my friends, is the rickshaw fish. It's a species of armored catfish found in South American rivers, especially in the Amazon basin. These fish are known for their tough protective scales that act as natural armor, shielding them from predators. They also have barbels, or whisker-like appendages, that help them sense their surroundings in murky waters. Despite their intimidating look, they're actually bottom dwellers that feed on algae, small invertebrates, and plant matter. Next clip is disturbing. If you can't handle worms and stuff, please move forward by 45 seconds.
Clip plays in 3, 2, 1. Showing now.
Someone was holding a strange pinkish tube-like thing, and as they moved it around, long white strands started falling out of it. At first glance, it was unclear what it was, but the more you look at it, the more disturbing it becomes. These white strands look eerily similar to parasites writhing and tangled together. Now, some people believe this could be the intestines of a slaughtered animal, infested with parasites, whereas others are thinking along the line of extraterrestrial visitors or influence of the supernatural. This is incredibly uncomfortable to watch. That many parasites in one place, absolutely horrifying. You know what, let's move on to the next clip. Before we do, make sure you deworm if you haven't in a while. Recently, there have been multiple UFO sightings in Ohio, and many of them seem to show the same mysterious phenomenon in the night sky. Here, we have one of those clips. It shows a glowing orb in the night sky, but what's strange is that it isn't staying in one place. Instead, it's moving slowly in circles. Even more bizarre, the colors keep changing rapidly, shifting every second. Now, most people immediately called it a UFO, which, let's be honest, is the go-to explanation for these kinds of sightings in the US, but skeptics believe it could simply be a drone, especially since drone technology has advanced so much in recent years. That could make sense. But here's the thing. Have you ever tried filming a star with your camera and zooming in? If you have, you'll notice that stars can sometimes appear to flicker and shift colors, but what they don't do is move around in circles like this object is doing. If you've been on this channel for a while, then you aren't new to glitches in the Matrix. This clip is supposed to be one of them. It was recorded by an individual who noticed that one of the many aeroplanes that he had been seen while traveling appeared to have been completely frozen in the air. This wasn't normal, at least to him, so he recorded a portion of the whole thing and uploaded it online. Once it hit the internet, many started sharing opinions, including a few others stating that they had experienced something similar. As opinions were being shared, someone in the comments section mentioned that this has to be nothing more than the parallax effect. For those hearing it for the first time, the parallax effect is the apparent shift in the position of an object when viewed from different angles caused by the observer's movement relative to the object. In simpler terms, this plane appears to be stuck but is in fact moving. It only appears stuck based on the recorder's perspective. While this makes sense, members of the community have rejected it, stating that the government was trying to hide the truth. You've seen the clip. What do you think is most likely going on here? Looks like a triangular UFO, does it not? Well, if you were here last year, you'll remember we did a dedicated video to a craft that looks just like this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what many in the alien-believing community call the TR-3B. The TR-3B is a supposed top-secret triangular-shaped aircraft often linked to black-budget military projects and UFO conspiracy theories. Some claim it's part of the US government's advanced aerospace technology, possibly using anti-gravity propulsion or highly classified stealth systems. The aircraft is often described as a large, silent black triangle with bright lights at each corner, sometimes seen hovering or moving at incredible speeds. While no official evidence confirms its existence, speculation suggests the TR-3B could be an experimental craft developed in Area 51 or other secret military facilities. The most popular theory claims it uses a magnetic field disruptor to reduce its mass, allowing it to perform extreme maneuvers beyond conventional aircraft capabilities. However, skeptics argue that sightings of triangular UFOs could be misidentified by B-2 spurred bombers, drones, or even optical illusions. Looking at this clip, it definitely doesn't look like a B-2 spurred bomber. So, do you think the TR-3B is real or just another UFO myth? If you kept hearing banging in your home when there was no one else but you around, would you leave or stay captured on camera? Personally, I think I would have left, but the one recording this clip decided to be brave and realized she bit off more than she could chew. She enters the room and sees the curtains move. That's not all though. Something falls from the wall in the direction the curtain moved. It's almost as though something or someone was trying its best to get away without being detected. That thing or person was invisible. This left the woman shocked and scared to the bone. She should definitely have left, but what do you think she's dealing with? When it comes to paranormal phenomena, there always seems to be talk of portals, gateways to other dimensions, worlds, or even time itself. Well, someone captured something strange in the sky, and it has people questioning reality. It was a really odd-looking formation, almost like a mist, but with bright lights piercing through it. Now I know some will immediately say this is just a camera lens reflection or a natural light effect, but the paranormal community is going crazy over this one. They strongly believe this could be a portal opening up to somewhere unknown. But what do you think? A simple trick of light, or could this actually be a glimpse into something beyond our understanding? No, that's not a plushie or children's toy. That's a real-life frog. Well, the one in this image might be dead, but you get what I'm trying to say, yes? Some who were seeing this frog for the first time believed it was mutated or not real, but the truth couldn't be further from that. This is a massive frog found near Humanoid in the Solomon Islands, believed to be the cornifer guppy, also known as the giant webbed frog or guppy's wrinkled ground frog. This species is one of the largest frogs in the world, native to the Solomon Islands and parts of Papua New Guinea. They have been discovered to be so large that they are usually compared to a human baby in size. They were about 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds, depending on which part of the world you live in. The narrative surrounding this image is that the frog was found by a hunter named Jimmy Hugo, who was initially tracking wild pigs. The frog was already dead when caught, and the villagers, who sometimes refer to these frogs as bush chickens because they are eaten in some areas, decided to cook it. This isn't the first time oversized frogs have been discovered, but it's rare to see one this large. The cornifer guppy is a nocturnal species that thrives in rainforests but is under threat due to habitat destruction. While not officially classified as endangered, its population has been declining. So while they do look interesting, they need us to help save their homes. Are there really reptilian shapeshifters living amongst us? The answer could be yes or no depending on where you grew up and what your belief systems are. Some believe that the world is secretly controlled by reptilian entities capable of shifting between human and reptile forms. But has anyone actually seen one with their own eyes? Well, in this video interview, we have a man who claims to be a reptilian shapeshifter himself. He recounts the first time he witnessed shapeshifting, and it wasn't just anyone, it was his own grandmother. Take a listen.
Grandmother is a shapeshifter, alright? She can
Is
turn
that why
into
you
a
call,
cat
is that why you call yourself a reptilian?
because I am a reptilian. My
We're
grandmother
gonna
is
get
one
into
too.
that.
Anyway, my grandmother, when I was much younger, I saw my grandmother was outside. It was a Sunday night, a full moon. I can't forget that night. I went outside, was looking for her. So when I went outside, I saw like these furs and like, you know, hairs of a cat. And I said, where these stuff come from? And then a few minutes later, I saw my grandma came, turned back from a cat into a human being.
According to him, he saw his grandmother shift from a cat into a human right before his eyes, and since they were from the same bloodline, he says he was destined to do the same as he grew older. So if his story is true, that would mean reptilian shapeshifters really do exist and they live amongst us. But not everyone believes his claims. Anyone can make up a story after all. There needs to be some proof if you ask me. But here's where it gets interesting. This man is from Jamaica, a country known for its strong belief in paranormal and supernatural occurrences. Someone even points out that his name is Nigel Hind, and he did receive an accurate reading from him. So could there be some truth to what he's saying, or is this just another wild conspiracy theory?
Came, turned back from a cat into a human being.
Did you witness her shift in front of your eyes?
Yes, I saw my own
I've got
eyes.
goosebumps. I've literally got goosebumps.
She said, Nigel, you're not supposed to see that because that's not something I tell people. But anyway, when you get older, you will be just like me because we're the same bloodline.
How'd you feel about saging? For those who don't know, saging is the practice where people burn special herbs, usually sage, to cleanse their space of negative energy or evil spirits. It's been used for centuries in spiritual rituals, but does it really work? Well, take a look at this footage. A man was saging his home, but instead of cleansing the energy, he seemed to invite something in, and it was all captured on his kitchen security camera. We don't know if he was saging just for protection, or if he had prior encounters that led him to do this. As you can see, he's walking around the room holding up the burning sage, chanting a prayer in the name of Jesus Christ, commanding whatever spirit was there to leave the house. But then, something eerie happens. Look at the right side of the wall where the crucifix is hanging. Something turns it upside down. Right after that, the cabinet on the left side slowly opens, and after a moment, some utensils fall onto the kitchen counter. This startled the man so much that he screamed, but instead of stopping, he walked toward the disturbance, praying even louder. I think that was a bad idea because whatever was in the house was not happy. Right behind him, the child's high chair suddenly toppled over, crashing to the ground. That was the last straw. He let out one final scream and ran out of the kitchen as fast as he could. But here's something to think about. People often say, does this keep spirits away or buy this for protection? But not everyone really knows what they're getting into, because in this case, instead of banishing a spirit, the man clearly just pissed it off. Does that mean that saging is not always as safe as people believe? While some certainly think so.
So do you believe this video was saged? See what I did there?
In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave forever and don't come forever and don't come back. I ask you to leave forever. Do not come back into this home. I'm blessed with this house. In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave this house. I ask you to leave this house instantly in the name of Jesus Christ. In the name of Jesus Christ, leave my home right away. In the name of Jesus Christ, leave my home right away.
Next, we have a peculiar scene straight out of a doll-filled room. In this eerie footage, one particular doll takes the spotlight. A monkey doll, casually lying in a box behind it, decides to make a move. Watch closely. The doll stands up straight, gazes at the ceiling, surveys the room, and in a rather unsettling way turns to look directly at the camera. With an eerie twist of its head, it then nonchalantly goes back to lying on the box as if nothing out of the ordinary just happened. It's like a scene from a horror movie, right? Dolls coming to life. Now, these kinds of videos can be tricks or staged for fun, but it sure gives you a spooky vibe. Anyway, what do you think is going on with that monkey doll? Humans are not the only weird things out there. Don't believe me? Well, take a look at this footage. Someone captured this scorpion-looking insect on a dead grasshopper. I don't know if it was eating the grasshopper or not, but this insect looks like it could cause some damage. After some digging, someone mentioned it was a scorpion fly. Before the name misleads you, these insects are not real flies. They're part of the Mecoptera order. They got the name scorpion fly from the male's private parts, which can look like a scorpion stinger. Now, scorpion flies are usually scavengers or predators. They chow down on all sorts of stuff, including dead insects. As you can see with this presumably dead grasshopper, it's likely just having a meal, either cleaning up the grasshopper or maybe it's having it as a snack. It was great to have solved the mystery, but after some more reading, I realized that there are some slight differences between an actual scorpion fly and what's on the screen. This looks like it actually has a scorpion body while the scorpion fly doesn't. Has anyone out there encountered any of these things? Care to confirm if they actually look like this? If you can, please do so. We'll be reading in the comments. Here we have another footage of the strange noise from the sky. In this video footage, a woman records a loud and strange noise coming from the sky outside her home. Curious and slightly unnerved, the woman went outside to record the sound. The noise continued for a while before eventually stopping. Some few moments later, it began again and she went outside to record it once more. These sounds are haunting and eerie. Some people believe these sounds could be linked to the end of the world as described in the Bible. Specifically, they point to the sound of the trumpet as a sign of the apocalypse. However, others believe that there could be other explanations for these strange occurrences. What are your thoughts, though? Do you believe that these sounds could be a sign of the end of times, or do you think that there are other explanations for these strange occurrences? There are theories of strange chemicals in our air and even metals. Could that be why this group of individuals are standing out with metal detectors in their hands? It sounds weird, but the original posts seem to suggest so. As you can see in the footage, these people are all standing outside on a field, holding metal detectors above their heads with hope of detecting any metal. However, as you listen to the footage, you can hear these strange sounds coming from the devices. But looking at the devices, are they not beeping because they're detecting each other? The devices are made of metal. However, a commenter made this comment. As someone who has metal detected as a hobby for 4+ years, they aren't going off because of metal in the air. The reasons all the detectors are going off is because they're ringing off of each other. This happens all the time and is very annoying if you're metal detecting with someone else in a small space. This is another fear lingering post. While there may be some theories about the presence of strange metals or chemicals in our atmosphere, this particular exercise may not be the best way to verify such claims. I don't know about you, but everyone I know hates it when toilets get clogged. But what happens when it's not your toilet, but a dam drainage? Well, you assemble your best men and start ramming it like it's no one's business. That's exactly what these men did, and after a few seconds, there was a breakthrough, literally. But you have to wonder, what kept it clogged? Well, many who saw the footage claimed many different things. One person states he can see an elk carcass come out. Another person says it's a giant chicken leg. Personally, I don't see it. I believe I'm looking at the log they are ramming the dam with. It appears to have some extra clothes at the end. Perhaps I'm seeing wrong. Can you guys tell me what you think? Next, we have an eerie scene from a school in Pune, India. The footage shows us a group of students and a teacher seemingly trying to restrain a girl, but here's where it takes a hair-raising turn. The girl's body starts contorting in strange and mind-boggling ways while defying gravity. Yeah, she's actually levitating. That claim, she's being possessed. Now, we've seen our fair share of orchestrated footage, but something about this sends a chill down the spine, making it hard to dismiss. So could this be a genuine case of possession, or is it just another well-crafted act? In a small town located in South Africa, an unusual and fascinating creature was spotted by some residents. According to eyewitnesses, the creature appeared to be a mermaid with a blue fish tail. It was seen above the water, and it raises its tail before dropping back into the water and swimming away. Conversations about these creatures always start a debate, and this was no different. While some people believe that mermaids are real, others are convinced that they're simply a myth and don't exist. Some viewers even suggest that the creature in question might have been a siren instead of a mermaid, as sirens are also known to inhabit the ocean and have similar traits to mermaids. Despite the debate, many viewers who saw the footage of the mermaid were adamant that it was a genuine sighting and that the creature was, in fact, a mermaid. However, some skeptics argued that it was likely a person in a costume and the footage could have been staged. Looking at the unnatural way it moves in the water, I'm tempted to believe it's true, but that's perhaps just me. What do you think about this fascinating sighting? Do you believe it's the real deal, or do you think that it's just a hoax? Share your thoughts. A group of fishermen had a unique catch recently that has left many intrigued. They managed to catch a landsfish from the ocean, which is a rare species of fish that is not often seen. The fish was long and slender with a silver body that shimmered in the sunlight. Its most notable feature was a set of long fins on its back that resembled a sail, giving it a distinctive appearance. Despite its striking appearance, the fishermen were initially unsure what type of fish it was. Some speculated that it could be a hybrid of a barracuda and a sailfish. Looking at it, I can see why they think that. Someone even said that it was a result of underwater nuclear testing. However, after some research, we confirmed that it was truly a lancetfish. For those unfamiliar with it, it's a deep-sea fish that is known to live at depths of up to 1,500 meters. They're known for their elongated and slender bodies, sharp teeth, and long dorsal fin that runs the length of their body. They're often found in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and are known to be formidable predators, feeding on a variety of smaller fish and squid. Cool, huh?
That's a gnarly... See you later, bud.
Now buckle up for a trip back to 1996 in Brazil. You see an alien when you look at this too, don't you? The story behind this is that the Brazilian army shot down a UFO and it crash-landed at Varginha, Brazil. As the military swung in to investigate, they stumbled upon this creature. a peculiar-looking one which is almost reptilian in appearance and towering at about 7 to 8 feet tall, lurking around the woods. The soldiers managed to capture the mysterious being, but details about what happened next or where it was taken remain shrouded in mystery. Can't say that surprises me, but having seen the clip, what do you think? Is it truly an encounter with an alien, or is someone trying to mislead us? For the record, Aaron believes this is real. What about you? Still on the strange objects in the sky, this rectangular-looking craft was captured cruising through the skies. After seeing it, I concluded that with technology getting more advanced by the day, it could be a secret human creation yet to hit the public stage. I was also very certain it could be alien with all the extraterrestrial chatter going on these days. Julius came, read my notes, and stated it was a B-wing from Star Wars. So either the Star Wars craft was real or someone is just trying to mess with me. Which do you think it is? And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, with their popular trail cams you've come across that you think we should absolutely feature on this channel, please tell us in the comments section. And if you personally have odd footage you recorded yourself, you can forward it to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do the needful analysis and include it in our next episode. We'll also give you credit, unless of course you want to remain anonymous. We can't wait to receive your clips. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. While exploring the mysterious depths of the ocean, someone scooped up some truly bizarre creatures. At first glance, they resemble tiny starfish, but their distinctive features quickly set them apart. Their tentacles are thin and vivid red, giving them a striking appearance that looks more like flattened spiders with 5 legs. While you might be tempted to conclude they're alien, these fascinating beings are known as brittle stars. Unlike their more robust starfish cousins, brittle stars are delicate and almost ethereal. Their limbs twist and turn with an eerie fluidity, adding to their otherworldly charm. Brittle stars are a captivating reminder of the ocean's endless mysteries and the incredible diversity of life it harbors. This next footage was sent in by a subscriber. They captured a strange creature flying close to the camera, and they believed it could be a fairy. The creature flew by pretty fast, and when you zoom in, it does seem to have long legs, but that's about all you can make out. It's hard to say for sure what it is. Some might argue it's just a wasp or another type of insect, given the blurry quality and fast movement. But then again, who knows what mysterious creature might be out there that we haven't yet discovered? What do you think? Is this just a common insect, or could it really be a fairy? All right, let's move on to another odd one. If you pay attention to the footage, there's this strange creature floating in the river. It has this wing-like thing that flaps in the water as it swims. The big question that's on everyone's mind: what are we looking at? To that, the answer is simple. We don't know. Some mentioned it could be an undiscovered water-dwelling species, or perhaps an extraterrestrial being taking a leisurely dip in our waters. While these sound like a stretch, they're nothing compared to those who think it's a Pokemon. Personally, I don't know what to make of it, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this aquatic mystery. What are we looking at? A river dweller with a unique swimming style, or a visitor from outer space making a pit stop for a swim? Now, let me share a tale that will send shivers down your spine. A home security camera picked up this eerie footage that has left the homeowner spooked and on edge. In the footage, the homeowner steps into her car looking for a lighter, but little does she know something ghostly is about to unfold. A spectral figure materializes out of thin air near the building, strolling across the camera's view, only to vanish into the bushes on the other side. Here's the kicker. The homeowner herself didn't witness or notice a thing. It was a furry residents, that is, her dogs, that set the alarm bells ringing. One of them even gives chase after the ghostly entity until it mysteriously fades away. What's your take on this spooky home security saga? A ghostly apparition or just a well-timed play of shadows? I have seen animals do strange things, but this next clip is just on another level. A cow chewing on wires from a transformer? Well, that's a new one. We often hear about goats eating just about anything, but a cow? This is truly strange. Despite all the grass going around it, this cow chose to munch on a bunch of plastic and copper wires instead. It's a perplexing sight to say the least. By the look of things, it seems there's no power running through those wires, otherwise this cow would have long been a barbecue. That doesn't change the fact that it's a bizarre and somewhat alarming scene. What do you think could have driven this cow to chew on wires instead of the abundant grass? Is it just a peculiar behavior, or could there be something more to it? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Would really love to hear your take on this unusual event. Brazil is no exception to the strange phenomena that has been appearing in our skies all over the globe. Take a look at this clip that was sent in recently. The clip shows a glowing object that resembles an arch with a bright orb at the center that blinks with light. The entire structure glows, looking entirely unnatural in the sky. Members of the paranormal community where this was shared are torn on what this object could be. Some believe it's a drone, while others suggest it's an angel, as described in the Bible and ancient texts. Others think it might be a demon rather than an angel. However, skeptics argue that this is simply a hologram projection. What do you make of this mysterious sighting? Could it be a supernatural being, an advanced piece of technology, or just an elaborate hoax? Share your thoughts. These days, all you hear is aliens, aliens, aliens. People spotting extraterrestrial creatures here and there. Take a look at this footage. Grave diggers dig up a grave expecting some valuables, but what do they find? A tall, gray alien, eyes wide open. Now here's where it gets unsettling. The creature starts moving. The big questions hit you like a UFO sighting. How long has this otherworldly visitor been enjoying a nap in the grave, and what in the universe could explain its sudden wake-up call? Well, here's a different take on a night at the club. Forget the energetic beats and wild dance moves. In this peculiar scene, instead of people hitting the dance floor, they're opting for a more laid-back approach, lying on the ground. It's a departure from the typical club scene, and you might find yourself thinking, what's this all about? It's a bit on the boring side. Perhaps these folks are embracing a more relaxed vibe or have found a unique way to enjoy their night out. Different strokes for different folks, I suppose.
What's that? Can you hear that noise? What is that?
8 years ago, a YouTube channel, Marty Dennison, posted this footage online. It was strange trumpet noises echoing from the sky. The whole household came to listen to it, and this was in Sydney. The phenomenon was, however, heard in various parts of the world. But what are these sounds, and why are people hearing them all over the world? Well, I did some digging and came across some information. According to the American Academy of Audiology, they are called skyquakes. While numerous theories have been proposed to explain the phenomenon, there is still no definitive explanation that has been universally accepted by researchers. Some of the most prominent of theories state that skyquakes could be caused by seismic activity such as earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Another possibility is that they're caused by atmospheric changes like thunder or lightning. It's also possible that they may be caused by the interaction of ocean waves with the Earth's crust. Some people have suggested more unconventional explanations for skyquakes, including sonic booms generated by military aircraft or atmospheric disturbances caused by electromagnetic phenomena. Despite the many ideas that have been put forward, skyquakes remain a mystery. What do you make of the whole thing?
What is that? So scary.
Next, we visit a beach in Venezuela where a peculiar phenomenon occurred. The sand on the beach was seen to be shifting and rumbling, creating a commotion among the people present. As the ground opened up, it revealed a strange-looking object that appeared to be rising from beneath the sand. The object was massive, and its shape was difficult to discern due to the sand still clinging to it. There are many speculations about what it could be. Some suggested that it could be nothing but a natural disaster, perhaps a landslide or earthquake waiting to happen. A few people speculated that it could be some creature living underground that was coming out to the surface. Some even went as far as suggesting that it could be an alien ship emerging from the sand. In the absence of any official report, the incident remains a mystery, and people continue to speculate about what it could have been. Having seen the clip, what do you think we're dealing with? Now, Julius and I love wild, exotic animals, so we make it our job to search for them and adore them. But even we don't know what this is. It looks like a mix between a bat, a sloth, and a primate. On second thoughts, you could even throw a badger in the mix of animals it looks like. We did a lot of digging, and some individuals thought it might be a long-haired macaque, but our research proved it wasn't. We've done a lot of cross-referencing, and nothing is convincingly similar. Has any of you encountered anything like this? Can you help out with its name? Thanks a lot. The riveting discovery. Someone spotted some movement in a river, and upon closer inspection, this is what he found. No, you're not imagining things. That's an actual lobster, and a colossal one at that. A giant making waves in the water. If you pay attention to the clip, you'll realize that its size is not the only thing that sets it aside. No, take a look at its eyes. Those blood-red eyes certainly will. It's like something out of a deep-sea horror. Nature has a knack of throwing curveballs at us, and this lobster is no different. I know it sounds crazy, but I'd actually want to see this. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this river-dwelling giant with its intense ruby-red eyes?
Oh, here's another one right here. You see him? Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning.
A family in California saw this peculiar-looking star moving in the sky using night vision glasses. The strange-looking stars were moving in the clouds as the people used green lasers to follow their movement. At a certain point, it blinked light and continued moving. It's pretty obvious by now that that is not a star up there. Some netizens said it was a drone. Someone also says it's a UFO, but not an alien, just something in the sky. And some were very certain that this was an alien, even going further to say they have been seeing them all the time. What do you think, though? Alien or something else entirely? Share your thoughts.
Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning.
Ooh,
yeah.
Flashed.
Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, it just flashed.
I'm lasering at him.
Our next clip opens up with an unusual object falling from the sky. The object appears to be a glowing cloud-like mass resembling a balloon more than a typical cloud. It's purple with an orange, fiery color and has a strange, unexplainable shape. The object can be seen rotating in the sky as it moves. At first, many thought it could be something otherworldly, perhaps a UFO. Looking at the clip, it's understandable why they think that. It looks like something that will come out from a spaceship or something alien. While many were buying into the idea, members of the scientific community stated that it could be wreckage from one of the SpaceX launches that were ejected into space and are now falling back to Earth. Looking at the clip, this looks like the more plausible explanation for what we are seeing. Either that or there's some serious alien camouflage. A home security camera captured this clip of a strange entity zooming past the cars outside. It's like a glimpse into the unknown right in the driveway. The big question now is, what in the world could that entity be? A neighborhood ghost out for a joyride, or maybe just a high-speed extraterrestrial commuter? This footage is like a snippet from the Twilight Zone caught on camera. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. Talking of different, a guy finds himself in the underground piping, and the big question is, how in the world did he end up there? Did he leap a large drain or perhaps attempt a daring self-flush down the toilet? The good news is no one got hurt, and the guy was safely removed from the pipe. But the mystery remains. What's the origin story of this unexpected plumbing expedition? Still on strange fruits, take a look at this next clip for instance. Yes, that's a banana on the table with tentacles flailing in the air. I mean, look at it. It looks so convincingly real. While they are indeed very strange and questionable things that happen all the time, let's not forget that technology and AI are also constantly growing, making it easier to fake a lot of things. Julius, our in-house science whiz, is convinced that this is obviously CGI. I want to dispute the fact, but it's an undeniable fact that computer-generated images these days can be so real. They are so real that they blur the lines between reality and fiction. Now, what do you guys think? CGI or real? Let us know your thoughts and reason in the comments section. A clip from 1980 shows someone handling an iPhone. Yes, you heard that right, in 1980. Take a look at the bizarre footage. A journalist returned to Hiroshima to document the aftermath of the 1945 bombing. One of the strangest things he found was what appeared to be a smartphone, specifically an iPhone 13. The chilling part is that the iPhone 13 wasn't released until 2021. How did this man get a hold of such advanced technology decades earlier? In the footage, you can see the man holding the device and trying to look at his reflection, seemingly unaware that it was a phone. How is this possible? Could someone explain what's going on here? Did someone time travel, or was this technology available long before we thought it was? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. A man was driving through the neighborhood enjoying the tranquility of the surroundings when he spotted another man walking on the pavement, pushing a baby trolley that was engulfed in flames. Tell me that won't freak you out if you see it.
What the f*** are you doing? What are you doing? Fire. Are we fire?
Intrigued by the peculiar sight, the driver decides to stop and ask what he's doing. To this, the man responds, "Fire." His response and appearance show he's not okay, but what could be wrong with him? Some are thinking maybe he's on something, while others are asking, could it be mental health stuff? No matter the reason, everyone can agree on one thing. Seeing a guy calmly walking around with a flaming trolley is just downright bizarre and a little heartbreaking. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send an alien after you now, would you? Now let's dive into this auditory mystery.
Listen.
Whoa!
Stay inside, baby.
Picture this. A woman steps out of her home near Cheyenne and, surprise, she hears these strange noises echoing from who knows where. It's like a mysterious soundtrack of a movie, but happening in real life.
What the fuck is that? Okay, but really, what the fuck?
Now here's the twist. It's not the usual mysterious trumpet sounds from the clouds. This is a whole new level of sonic mystery. And guess what? It went down recently on the 2nd of February 2024, to be precise. Now, what do you think is causing these unexplained sounds? Is it just nature playing tricks, or maybe a signal from the unknown? Share your thoughts.
Wait for it.
There's a reptilian race believed to be living amongst us in plain sight. They're believed to have made their way to Earth and disguised themselves as humans. Despite their convincing disguise and ability to look like us, they fail to mimic us completely and have strange body parts that give them away. Take a look at these girls in the clips. These girls look normal until they pull out their tongues, and look at that. They have extremely long tongues that could touch their chests without them bending their necks, and yet their tongues fit right back inside their mouths. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get it. After their clips went viral, people started to believe that they might not be human, while others said they were reptilians. I mean, I want to call them reptilian people, even though there's not enough information to go on. While I love me some good conspiracies, I can't help but feel my love for conspiracies might be making me biased. What do you guys think, though? Could we really be dealing with an alien situation, or are these girls just normal humans born with extremely long tongues? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Believe me when I say this next one is a strange one. So now that you guys have seen it, what do you think we're dealing with? The one who uploaded the clip found it in his water butt, and no, it's not what you're thinking. A water butt is a large container for collecting or storing a liquid such as rainwater. As we can see, the creature is tiny, transparent, and jelly-like that looks like it has an elephant trunk. I tried to find out what it could be, but there was no clue whatsoever. Perhaps you guys can help. I'll be reading the comments. Someone's on a late-night stroll, and if you have followed this channel long enough, you know he's definitely encountering something strange. This time, he encounters a creature that's part stick, part scorpion. I know it's unconventional, but it has the appearance of a stick bug, but with some extras. Tucked behind its wings is what looks like a scorpion sting. Turns out, it's like a bug in stealth mode. In moments of perceived threat, these remarkable creatures transform their benign appearance into a spectacle of intimidation. The wings part to unveil what seems to be a scorpion sting, an elaborate ruse designed to startle and deter potential predators. Nature never ceases to amaze us with its ingenious adaptations. What are your thoughts on this stick bug's defense strategy? Next, we have a clip of two motorcyclists cruising down the road, one with a camera capturing the journey. The twist? The camera-wielding rider overtakes his friend and rides ahead, but when he stops to check on his buddy, there is no sign of him, just the lone motorcycle cruising behind. Where could the missing rider have gone? Did he take an unexpected detour, or is there a more extraterrestrial explanation like an alien abduction? There have been stories of people getting taken away in broad daylight by aliens for unknown reasons. Maybe this is just one of them. What do you think? Have you heard about the innovative building constructed in Japan by the renowned Nendo Studio? This incredible structure has been designed to play a pivotal role in reducing carbon emissions and absorbing CO2 from the environment. The building has been constructed using a special type of concrete known as CO2 silicon, which has been engineered to minimize the release of harmful gases during production. The walls of this house have been made from state-of-the-art concrete, making it a pioneering example of eco-friendly architecture. By embracing technologies like this, we can take a significant step toward mitigating the environmental impact of traditional concrete production. What do you think about the future of construction? Do you see this as a game-changing development in the field? Has the recent AI craze got you worried about computers taking over the world? Well, I hate to do this, but your worries are about to get a whole lot bigger. Intel has just rolled out Hala Point, and it's a big deal in the world of neuromorphic computing. This beast is the largest neuromorphic computer ever made, boasting 1,152 Lothi-2 chips. These chips mimic a whopping 1.15 billion artificial neurons and a mind-boggling 128 billion synapses spread across a whopping 140,544 processing cores. This means it can handle a staggering 20 quadrillion operations per second, which is a huge leap from Intel's previous system, Pohoiki Springs. Hala Point blows it out of the water, offering over 10 times the neuron capacity and up to 12 times higher performance. Why does this matter? Well, it's a game changer when it comes to the hefty computing costs of training AI models. With Hala Point, Intel aims to slash the time and resources needed to train these models. This could mean big improvements in AI applications across industries like healthcare, finance, and transportation. This is a major milestone in neuromorphic computing. Its impressive processing power and massive neuron capacity could change the game for AI training and deployment. It's a sign of exciting things to come in the world of computing. Unless AI goes bad and attacks us, of course, but that will never happen, right?
Australia is often the first country that comes to mind when we think about giant spiders, but it turns out that other parts of the world are also home to these creepy crawlers. A video shared by a family in China recently went viral, showing an incredibly large spider they found at the corner of their roof. The size of the spider was so astounding that it appeared to be larger than a human face, making it a truly unsettling sight for the family. The sheer scale of this arachnid left many viewers shocked, and some even questioned how such a massive creature could have gone unnoticed before. With the rise of giant spider sightings in different parts of the world, it's clear that these creatures aren't just limited to Australia, and they're becoming an increasingly eerie topic of conversation for those who encounter them. And while you share your thoughts on that, can you explain what's happening here? The clip starts off showing a man on a phone call. While on the call, he's walking till a wall blocks his path. To address this, he steps back, stretches his leg over the wall, and climbs on top of it like a cartoon character would. The individual who uploaded this called it a reality glitch, but no, this is too much. I believe this clip was edited. I could be wrong, but if it's genuine, then maybe it's time I threw everything I knew about physics away, which, if I'm being honest, isn't much. Either way, what do you guys think is going on here? Please share your thoughts.
Moving on from that, we've got this footage that comes from a deep-sea dive in the Maldives, capturing a heart-stopping moment. A man was diving when a tiger shark suddenly swam toward him, mistaking the diver's shiny regulator for a fish. The shark bit down on the regulator, holding onto it for a moment. Fortunately, after shaking it briefly, the shark let go and swam off. The diver remained unharmed, but it was undeniably a terrifying encounter. This man was incredibly lucky to escape unscathed, considering how powerful and unpredictable tiger sharks can be. Still, considering adding diving to your bucket list next year? I'm certainly not. A group of individuals inside a building noticed something truly unsettling on their cams. This is the same thing that you're seeing on your screen. If you pay attention, you should see it too. There's a dark, shadowy figure moving unnaturally in the clip. The mysterious mass appeared near the lower floors, gliding effortlessly around the windows. Its movement was unusually smooth and eerily fluid. Its form didn't resemble a human or any known creature, leaving onlookers both horrified and mystified. The figure's appearance and movement have led to numerous speculations. The most obvious and popular is that it's a paranormal entity like a shadow person or even a demonic presence. Can we prove any of these? No? But take a good look. What do you think?
We can hear it.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm getting chills. I quit.
And it moves fast.
Wow.
The internet never fails to surprise with its share of people claiming extraordinary abilities. Here's one for the books. A person who believes they have telekinesis, the power to move objects with their mind, and they've provided a demonstration. In the video, the individual is holding a phone in one hand while extending the other arm toward a paper cup resting on the floor. As they wave their hand, the cup seems to rise into the air as if responding to the movements. At one point, the individual makes a subtle motion with their hand, and the cup promptly falls back to the ground. What's truly intriguing is the apparent lack of visible strings, magnets, or other props that could explain the movement. Could this be real-life superpower, or just another clever illusion? Did you know there's a plant that grows natural sponges? Yeah, you heard that right. It's called the loofah plant. This fascinating plant produces a fruit that, when harvested and processed, transforms into the sponges many people use in their kitchens or showers. In this footage, a woman demonstrates how she cultivates loofahs. She plants the seeds and then carefully trains the vines to grow vertically, allowing the fruits to hang freely. This method helps them grow straight and healthy. Once the fruit matures, she harvests it and peels off the outer skin to reveal the fibrous sponge-like interior. It's a sustainable and natural way to create sponges. No synthetic materials are needed. Have you ever seen or used a loofah sponge?
Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this?
Next, we've got this clip from a man in South Carolina who had a chilling experience one night in his yard. According to him, he was hearing strange noises coming from trees close to his property. Being the responsible individual that he is, he went to investigate, and that's when things took a rather interesting turn.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me.
The things in the trees started breaking and hurling tree branches at him. Scared and puzzled, he ran inside to grab his camera, and when he returned, they were still at it. He believes they were fighting, but the sheer strength needed to snap those branches and throw them at him was something no ordinary human or creature could do.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
His conclusion was that he was definitely dealing with gorillas.
This is the second time I've come over here. And the first time, when I got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is.
The sheer strength needed to snap those branches and throw them was beyond what most creatures could do, which led to his conclusion. Once he starts filming, though, the creatures end up obscured in the foliage, making it hard to speak on authority that those were indeed gorillas. The paranormal community doesn't think that they're gorillas at all. First of all, there are no gorillas in South Carolina. Secondly, while gorillas can climb trees, they prefer to stay closer to the ground because of their weight. Thirdly, you know what, scratch that. I could probably give you 1,000 reasons why they're not gorillas. So, if they're not gorillas, then what could they be?
Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down.
Well, the paranormal community thinks they might be Bigfoots that were arguing in the trees, so they didn't expect to be heard. And when the man heard them, they panicked and tried to scare him away so they were not discovered.
Oh, it's gotta be I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and doing this. It's something stronger than a bear.
It's a long stretch, but it does sound logical to me in paranormal terms, of course. You guys have seen the clip as well, so what do you think?
About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm going to bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down.
A man claimed to have spotted something unusual floating in the sky while he was out walking. Startled by what he saw, he quickly pulled out his gun and began firing at it, determined to bring it down. The footage shows him shooting repeatedly, but despite his efforts, the object didn't seem to react or show any signs of being hit. It hovered steadily in the sky, almost as if it was taunting him. The video ends before we see whether he managed to land the shot or if the mysterious object disappeared altogether. While this might be a serious matter for the one recording, many individuals found it funny. Despite the teasing, some did think he got very close. So what do you think? Did he get it, or at least land a few shots? Could it have been a drone or UFO, or was this simply an overreaction to something entirely explainable? Let's hear your thoughts.
Let me take you back to 1915 in San Diego, a time when the city was in severe drought. Desperation had set in as the water shortage grew critical, and there seemed to be no solution. That is, until a man named Charles Hatfield entered the scene with a bold claim that he could bring rain to the city. Hatfield, often referred to as a Rainmaker, proposed an extraordinary deal. He promised to summon rain in exchange for a $10,000 payment if he succeeded. With no better options, the city agreed to the unusual arrangement. Remarkably, Hatfield delivered a little too well. His method was releasing a mix of chemicals into the air to stimulate rainfall. As odd as it sounds, it worked, but instead of easing the drought, San Diego found itself in one of the worst floods recorded in the 20th century. Rivers overflowed, homes were destroyed, and the damage far exceeded what anyone had anticipated. Hatfield's attempts to save the city turned into a disaster. But what do you think? Was this a freak coincidence, or did Hatfield really have the power to control the skies? Let's take a look at this unusual and fascinating footage. A couple was out hiking with their dogs when they stumbled upon something bizarre in the forest. They noticed the soil in this particular area seemed off. The ground wasn't solid like normal soil. Instead, it was wobbly and bouncy, almost behaving like a giant bouncy castle. The couple couldn't resist testing it out, and as they jumped on it, you could see the soil ripple and bounce under their feet. This phenomenon is not what you'd expect from solid ground, which is typically static and stable. So what's going on here?
This clip comes from the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, which hit southeastern United States in late September 2024. A woman who lived in one of the areas affected decided to take a walk in her neighborhood. This is when she noticed the foul stench coming from some of the debris. She gets closer to the area that seems to smell like something's rotting. That's when she sees what looks like a memorial with flowers on it. That's heartbreaking, but definitely not strange. That's not to say nothing strange happened, because some seconds in, a voice comes from the rubble. She misses it and is driven away from the place by the smell. In fact, she vomits. Playing the clip back later, the voice is noticed. This leaves us with questions, lots of questions. Whose voice was that? Was it from the makeshift grave? Did it come from a man seeking help, not knowing he'd already died? Bizarre, I know, but with the numerous reports of death in the area, it shouldn't be too surprising, should it? In different parts of the world, beliefs, rituals, and taboos often carry an air of mystery for outsiders. Now take a moment to check out this intriguing footage. A man is seen standing at a doorway, his back turned to the camera. However, as the camera pans upwards, it becomes apparent that he has no head. Moments later, a woman approaches him from inside the room carrying a large bowl of an unknown substance. She begins to apply it to his chest and downward in deliberate strokes, all while letting out eerie wailing sounds. In some Asian cultures, there are tales of headless people who return home. These headless beings are deceased individuals who come back to their homes primarily to seek closure before moving on to the next world. Since we have no context for this footage, we aren't sure if it depicts a similar situation. What do you think is happening here?
Let's take a look at this fascinating new tech invention. What you're seeing is a demonstration of a groundbreaking material, a self-healing fabric called nano-cure tech. In the video, a hand holds a piece of fabric, and as the person pokes a hole in it, the damage seems to disappear as if by magic. The individual simply runs their finger over the hole, and just like that, the fabric seals itself back up. This isn't some form of magic, it's an advanced cutting-edge technology designed to enhance the durability and longevity of fabrics. Nano-Cure Tech uses microscopic self-repairing components that activate when the fabric is damaged. When the fabric is punctured or torn, the nanoparticles within it expand, and when you rub it, the heat contracts the material again, making it appear to be mending on its own. Has a ghost ever photobombed your selfie? Well, that might just be what happened to this girl. She was taking a casual selfie on Snapchat, striking a cute pose late at night in her room. But after taking the photo, she gave it a second glance, and that's when she noticed something chilling. Behind her was the pale face of a woman with hollow eyes, messy hair, and a dark expression. She appeared to be wearing a plain black shirt and didn't have a friendly look. The girl was home alone, and everyone in her family had already gone to bed. So if no one else was around, who or what was this ghostly figure?
I keep hearing like knocking at my door. I look out the window. There's nothing. See what I mean?
Moving on, a man shared a chilling experience after receiving a package from a friend who was deeply involved in spiritual practices. The package contained a large box with 5 eerie-looking dolls, each seemingly handcrafted from clay and resembling voodoo-like figures. Shortly after the package arrived, strange and unsettling events began to occur in his home. He started hearing persistent knocking on his door. Each time he checked outside, no one was there. The knocking continued relentlessly, even when he looked through the window and saw nothing. Things escalated when his dog began barking uncontrollably as if scenting something unforeseen. To uncover the source of the disturbances, the man set up a camera to monitor the dolls. However, the camera mysteriously toppled over. Given how securely it had been placed, he couldn't explain how it could have fallen on its own. These events led him to suspect that the dolls might carry some sort of energy or entity. Given how odd these things look, I won't be surprised if there's something weird going on. What do you think he should do with them, though?
I keep hearing like knocking at my door. I look out the window. There's nothing. See what I mean?
Just in case you were wondering what's happening here, well, don't. I'll shed some light in a jiffy. It's Florida man, and he strikes again in the heart of New York City. And yes, just for clarity's sake, that's a man throwing furniture off the top of a building. We're not sure why, but according to his brother, he'd been acting delusional and paranoid days prior to this incident. While this was a cause for concern, he didn't expect things to escalate to this point. Mental health is a serious thing many of us take for granted. Luckily, no serious injuries were recorded. If you live in a busy place like New York City, statistically you're bound to run into situations and people like this once in a while. One thing you'll want to do is always walk around carefully, and don't forget to look up because, well, they apparently love to throw furniture from tall buildings. I wanted to attribute behavior like this to paranormal entities, but there's nothing to tie it in here. Take care of your mental health, okay? The last thing we want is for you to end up in a situation like this.
This footage, shared by two sisters, has been stirring up curiosity online. They have been living in a house for a while and claim to have recorded numerous strange occurrences during their time there. In an effort to address these mysterious happenings, they decided to bless the house. You know how I always stress about double-checking a house's history before moving in, right? Well, these sisters didn't shy away from taking matters into their own hands. One day they got holy water. One sister began sprinkling it around the house while the other filmed the process. But then things took a turn. As soon as the blessing began, the lights started to flicker. Now, this is where opinions divide. On one hand, some might argue it's just a coincidence, maybe faulty wiring or something mundane. But honestly, when paired with their prior experiences, it feels a little too eerie to ignore. Could this be a sign of something lurking in their home? Would you ever dare to stick your hand into molten iron? Well, it sounds unthinkable, right? But there's a theory suggesting that if done correctly, you could pass your hand through molten iron at extreme temperature without getting burned. Take a look at this demonstration. A man carefully passes his palm through flowing molten iron, and surprisingly, he emerges unscathed. Others decide to test this phenomenon. First, they heated the iron to around 300 centigrade and dipped a sausage into it. The sausage came out slightly charred. Then they dunked the same sausage into the water before repeating the test, and this time it was slightly more cooked than before. Next, they cranked up the heat to a blistering 450 degrees Celsius. This time, the sausage remained completely cold when dipped into the molten iron. The man then used his own finger, cautiously dipping it into the superheated iron, and to his amazement, no burns. So what's going on here? Is this sorcery? Well, not quite. The answer likely lies in the Leidenfrost effect, a scientific phenomenon where a layer of vapor forms around a liquid or object when it comes into contact with an extremely hot surface. This vapor acts as a temporary barrier, preventing heat from transferring directly to the object, be it a sausage or even a human finger. It's worth noting that this is an incredibly risky experiment and should never be tried without expert knowledge and safety measures. But what do you think? Is it purely science, or does it feel like a touch of the mystical?
Oh my god!
Speaking of strange phenomena, take a look at this. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see it? Personally, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, but many in the paranormal community thought this was either the Star of Jacob or the Sirius Star. But not knowing what both of these were, I was gonna sit it out, but some felt it looked and felt alien. But then again, when you're not familiar with something, it's easy to attribute it to anything, even alien stuff. That's when one of the individuals in the paranormal community came and dispelled all thoughts and opinions. After taking a critical look at it, he believed it was a SpaceX launch. After cross-checking with information on the internet, it looks like he may be right. But then again, what do you guys think?
That's the famous nebula. Oh my god!
Now on to something not so exciting. In 2025, there are predictions of a significant solar storm. This event is linked to the solar maximum, a phase the sun experiences approximately every 11 years. During this time, the sun emits massive amounts of solar flares and radiation. The last major event of this kind occurred in 1859 and is famously known as the Carrington Event. The Carrington Event caused widespread disruptions, including damage to telegraph systems and auroras visible far from the poles. If such an event would occur today, it could have far-reaching consequences given our reliance on technology. Power grids might fail, the internet could be disrupted, and satellites, which are essential for communication and navigation, could be affected. However, there's no need to panic. Experts emphasize that such an event does not pose a direct threat to human life. The effects would primarily be technological, and with proper preparation, the impact can be mitigated. This is candid footage captured by one of 4 adventurous hikers exploring the breathtaking wilderness of Hawke's Bay, near the serene Lake Waka Rim. The group was making their way across a seemingly sturdy suspension bridge suspended high above the waters below. As they walked, laughing and enjoying the stunning views, the unimaginable occurred. The bridge gave way beneath their feet, collapsing with a sudden and terrifying force. 3 of the hikers were sent plummeting 30 feet into the icy waters below. Miraculously, despite the heart-stopping fall, none of them sustained serious injuries, though the experience left them shaken. The bridge, which had been deemed safe for up to 10 people, was a familiar route for many hikers in the area. With this in mind, the group felt assured as they stepped onto it, unaware of the danger lurking beneath. However, one of the hikers later recalled hearing a strange, ominous thud moments before the collapse. Taxes are often seen as one of the most frustrating parts of living, especially in the US. You work hard, get your paycheck, and before you even get a chance to budget, a significant portion has already been taken away by taxes. We're told that these taxes fund the government, but take a look at this footage and let me know how you feel about what's being said.
Government is financed by treasury bonds. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money.
The man in the video claims that taxes don't actually fund the government. Instead, he explains that the government is funded through treasury bonds, which are bought by the Federal Reserve using printed money. Essentially, they're making money out of thin air. If that's the case, why don't they just print more money and eliminate these high taxes? It makes you wonder, if they can create money like this, what's the point in taxing us so heavily? Could it be that it's all just an illusion designed to keep us working hard and depending on the government? What do you think of this perspective?
The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not.
Yes, that's a man being dug out of the rubble. Scary, huh? I wanted to believe we were dealing with an earthquake or some natural disaster that had left people buried. But according to the narrative that came with the video, this man was actually not there by accident. He was buried alive. We don't know why, only that he was there for days before being found. The thought of being buried alive sets my claustrophobia on high, but perhaps that's just me. Either way, he must be very glad and very fortunate to have survived the whole ordeal. Looking at it a second time, do you believe the narrative the video came with, or do you think there's more that we're not being told? Share your thoughts in the comment section. While fishing in Brunei, some people noticed something strange in the water. As they zoomed in, they were shocked by what they saw. It's a strange creature. It doesn't appear to be a gator or a croc, or neither is it a fish. The creature had part of its body above the water as it swam across. I don't even know how to describe this thing. People who caught a glimpse of this aquatic enigma are throwing around theories. Some think it might be a local species with a funky birth defect, possibly caused by some chemical or heavy metal exposure. Others are going all in, suggesting it might be an entirely new species, giving us a sneak peek into the wonders of Brunei's waters. Like I said, I've got no leads, so what's your take on this strange thing?
A passerby captured a peculiar sight in the sky, a helicopter flying with a mysterious object attached to it via a harness. The object appeared to be large and circular, and its unusual size and shape have sparked quite a bit of speculation. Many viewers believe this helicopter might be transporting a UFO. The sleek and unconventional design of the object has added fuel to these claims, with some suggesting it could be evidence of governments secretly studying alien technology. However, others argue that this is likely a mundane explanation, such as a test module, satellite component, or industrial equipment being transported. What's your take on this? Some friends in Finland had set off one night into the woods. There were rumors of a creature that had been roaming the woods at night, and they wanted to see it for themselves, so they set off one night with their camera and a torch. During their search, eerie howling sounds echoed through the trees, heightening their anticipation and fear. They pointed their flashlights and camera toward the source of the noise, and what they captured was startling. A large bipedal and furry creature stood just a few feet away. It seemed somewhat startled by the light, but didn't display any aggressive behavior. The creature appeared to watch them briefly before disappearing deeper into the woods. The footage they recorded is not entirely clear, leaving its exact identity open to interpretation. According to the men, the creature closely resembled a dogman. What do you think? While you share your thoughts on that, take a look at this. Crazy, right? When I first saw this, I asked Aaron to tell me it was a movie scene, but he simply couldn't. This was allegedly recorded on a helicopter investigating a strange phenomenon in the sky. From the clip alone, we can agree that this is not normal. Sure, but, since it's not normal, what exactly are we dealing with? The answer: aliens. The paranormal community thinks that this might just be the proof that we need that aliens are actively doing things on this planet and the government is covering it up. This clip appears to show light or laser or whatever that is hitting the ground several times from a craft or being that's being hidden by the dark clouds. Before you state it's a weather phenomena, Aaron insists he did the research and found no weather phenomena that looked like this, which leaves only aliens in the picture. While I found this exciting and overwhelming, there was an itch I just couldn't stop scratching. This made me watch the clip over and over and over, and then I saw something. When you pay attention to the small screen of the pilot, you'll notice he's got a camera recording what's ahead of him. The strange thing, however, is aside from a few dark clouds in the sky, you don't see the apocalyptic scene we all just watched. This left me wondering if it was because the aliens could have been using tech that prevented cameras from recording. While that sounded interesting, I quickly had to banish it since there was a camera recording the main clip we all paid attention to. This left only one option: the clip has been doctored. Oh, that breaks my heart since we're out here allegedly, genuinely looking for real footage. Clips like this make the job difficult, but then again, maybe I'm seeing things that are not there. You guys took a look at the clip as well, so you tell me what you think. I'll be reading the comments.
That's f***ing Sasquatch, guys. The big fella. Oh my god, this is crazy.
Yes, more Bigfoot footage. We can never get enough Bigfoot footage. This clip, however, rubs me the wrong way. You know, like it's not authentic. I ran it by some members of the team, and despite attempting it to be convincing with the gait, fur, and body features, many of my team members think it's just a guy in a suit. In fact, comments under the original post say the same thing. You've seen the clip, so what's your opinions?
That's f***ing Sasquatch, guys. The big fella.
The concept of invisibility has long been a captivating topic for humanity, often feeling more like the stuff of superpowers or sci-fi than something achievable by science. After all, who would want to disappear at will? While the idea of invisibility isn't mainstream yet, advancements in technology suggests that we're closer than we think. Take, for instance, this Vantablack coated watch. As the camera pans around it, the watch seems to disappear and then reappear almost like magic. Wonder how this is possible? Well, Vantablack is a material engineered to absorb 99.96% of light. It's the blackest shade of black ever created. This extreme light absorption creates the illusion of invisibility, making objects coated in Vantablack appear as if they were not there. So could such materials be what UFOs use for cloaking technology? There's a long-standing and highly debated conspiracy theory that suggests aliens might have built the pyramids. The reason behind this is often tied to the sheer complexity of engineering and construction, particularly when considering the limited technology available to humans thousands of years ago. The precise alignment, massive stones, and intricate design seem, to some, like an otherworldly feat. However, recent research from scientists at MIT might have shed light on how ancient humans could have achieved this monumental task without extraterrestrial intervention. These researchers conducted an experiment where they successfully moved a 25-ton stone block with nothing but their hands and no heavy machinery involved. Astonishingly, the process appeared effortless, sparking renewed interest in how ancient civilizations might have employed ingenious methods to achieve what seemed impossible. While the allure of a mysterious alien origin for the pyramids is captivating, evidence like this reminds us to appreciate the brilliance of human innovation throughout history. What are your thoughts?
This footage, captured by a trail camera, presents an intriguing sight. The video begins innocuously, showing deer standing and grazing peacefully. However, the seemingly tranquil scene takes a mysterious turn as something unusual appears in the background. There, amidst the trees, a large dark figure can be seen moving. Its gait is distinctly bipedal, walking on two legs. The figure's outline suggests a broad, muscular build, and the edges of its form reveal what looks like a thick, hairy covering. Could this be a sighting of the legendary Bigfoot? The size, posture, and movement of the figure certainly align with descriptions from countless reports over the years. What do you think? So I've seen a lot of crazy things in recent times, but this might just top it all off. The lady you see in the clip here went through a rough time with cancer. While she appeared to have come out of the battle, she did not come out unscathed. Her arm was amputated in the process, and instead of crying like most people do, she organized a funeral for her arm. No, it's exactly as it sounds. No symbolism or allegory or any of those fancy words at play here. She straight up had a funeral for her arm. Some found this amusing and called it dark humor, whereas others saw it as a display of strength. Some were, however, weirded out by the whole thing and called her out for it. Which of these sects do you belong to and why?
It looks mummified. Oh my god. Look at that thing.
I'm Eldira, and this is my arm. That's on the table right now.
Hands to it.
I feel many things.
And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.